Welcome to the Warrior Up podcast. I'm Amy Smith. I've been teaching, training, and coaching fitness for more than 25 years and in love with Jesus for all of my life. I'm passionate for God and to get you moving out of your comfort zone and into living your best life for Him. Through pain and struggle, God has taught me life-changing truths that have healed my soul, set me free, and empowered my mind. Each week, I'll be sharing these truths with you, along with my heart, practical action steps, powerful stories, and key principles from God's Word to motivate, encourage, inspire, and even challenge you in your fitness and health journey for your body, mind, and spirit. Let's get right into today's show. Hey, Fit Family in Jesus. My name is Amy, and I am very excited to introduce myself. So today is my first time posting the podcast, the Warrior Up podcast, on my YouTube channel. So welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those who have been listening, I'm on episode number 76, so it's been a while. I am going to start posting more videos to my YouTube channel so you can see conversations between amazing leaders like Ken Jocelyn, Daniel Gomez. He's a wonderful motivator and inspirer. Amazing women like Lorraine Trujillo, who wrote the book Festival in the Desert. Been able to have conversations with one of my dear friends. She is a licensed counselor. She's also a Christian trauma therapist. Her name is Gina Berkmeyer. I've had Pastor Matthew Barnett from the LA Dream Center on the podcast. So I'm going to be uploading those as they come. But today I am so excited. I have my husband, Tim, on the podcast and also some absolutely amazing people. A lot of you know them already, Dave and Ashley Willis. So here is their book, Naked and Healthy, which we're going to be talking about that today. We have so much fun in this episode. We talk about marriage. We talk about fitness. Of course, we talk about Jesus, and we laugh a lot too. I also want to let you know about a new book that I am in the process of writing. It's almost done, and this comes out soon. So I would love for you guys to check this out and order it. This is about fitness God's way, because how many of us know that the world's way, it just doesn't work. It's not lasting. It's not meaningful. And it's not the purposes to which our body was made and why we should move our bodies and take care of them. So go to crosstrain180.com. You can order that. You can pre-order it, or go to the description below to find out more information of how we can contact or, connect with each other and how you can contact me. You can also go to my social media platforms. You could also join the Warrior Tribe for Women. We love Jesus, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to just come alongside of you and also some amazing women and help you get fit God's way, because it's not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's not about vanity. Yes, we want to look our best, be our best, and do our best, but it is about Jesus. So I've been in the fitness industry for close to 3 decades now, and God He's taught me so much through perseverance, through taking care of the temple, through seeing life through His eyes. And God is just such a blesser, right? He's such an encourager. He is such a motivator. He's the best. And we are here for a purpose. We're not here for quick fix. We're not here for a destination, except heaven is our home. But no, who we are becoming in the journey, and who are we impacting along the way? We want to be our best for our families. We want to be our best for our loved ones. We want to serve. I know that you do too. So you guys, come along. Let's journey together. And now let me introduce Dave and Ashley Willis. So they have the Naked Marriage podcast. They reach millions of people every year. They are speakers for the EXO marriage conferences around the nation. They share their journey, and they teach us how to be more naked, more open, and real and authentic in our marriages. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm so excited to have them on the show. So here we go. Dave and Ashley, welcome to the Warrior Up podcast. Oh my goodness, it's such a blessing to have you both here. I also have Tim.
Hi.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the episode today. I cannot wait to hear what God has in store for us all.
Us too. Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks,
our
Tim and
pleasure.
Amy, for having us. It's good to see you both again. It is.
It is our blessing. Okay, so why don't you guys share? I think most people know who you are. You guys are pretty amazing. You are marriage couple leaders, and you have an awesome way of articulating real stuff, like your naked podcast, your naked marriage podcast, your naked and healthy book. Would you guys just expound on that a little bit of what you do and how you got started too?
Well, sure. We've been in marriage ministry for almost 11 years, and we've been with EXO about 7 years, but we started out really just in youth ministry. Eventually, Dave became a pastor, a teaching pastor. And many years ago, he was noticing that when people would come to him for pastoral counseling, it really centered around marriage and relationships. And I remember he came home one day, and this is right when Facebook was kind of the Wild West. And he said, somebody really should take more advantage of Facebook and like put good biblical marriage advice on there. He's like, so many people are struggling in their marriages. And he said in that moment, he felt like God was saying, well, you're somebody, so why not start it? And so Dave started this anonymous page. I mean, it didn't have our pictures on it or our names. It was just called Marriage. It's Facebook /Stronger Marriages, still exists today. And it just really, it didn't do a whole lot for a little bit, just put good advice on there. But then it started gaining a lot of traction. And it wasn't because of anything we were doing, but it's because people are so desperate for good, solid marriage advice. And we just started forming this audience and learning from each other, learning about marriage. And then that led to us writing more resources. And I started doing more. At the time, I had a little one at home. And then they were like, Dave, why don't you get your wife to do some things? Because eventually we did put our names on it. But they, wanted to hear from a couple. And so we started blogging. We started getting invitations to speak, and eventually joining the team at EXO Marriage. And now we write books, and we go around the country speaking at different conferences. And we work with the couples at our church as well. And we really enjoy it. It's not something we set out to do, but we feel like it's our calling, and it takes many of us, because marriage is one of the highest felt needs that people go through and have in their life. And we just want to be part of helping couples and families.
Well, Tim and I were blessed to go. Was it in 22? We went to an EXO conference, and first of all, we met you guys. I think it was, let me see, because you guys signed my book that you gave me. So that was October of 2021.
Yes.
And that's where we met you guys. And that's where EXO was recording a fitness series. Mm-hmm. And I was God opened up that door for us to be a part of that ministry. Oh my goodness. Now that we're in kind of a waiting period, God will remind me of all these wonderful people that we've met, like you guys, and just the things that we've been able to be a part of. And it gives you hope. But from the time that we met you, we just fell in love with you guys. Like, okay, we could be buds with them. You guys are so real and authentic. You genuinely love people. You see that you guys love each other, and it flows from this authenticity from both of you, and it's magnetic. And so, but when we went to the conference, you guys have such an amazing way of making things fun. Like, you talk about the raw things, like you talk about sex, and you talk about, how do you make time for a quickie in the afternoon, or, and it wasn't anything weird, because some people think, well, in church, you're not supposed to be that blunt, or you're not supposed to be that real. But God created marriage.
Exactly.
So it's the most beautiful thing whenever we realize it's supposed to be fun. Marriage is supposed to be fun in all aspects, and intimacy really resembles what we're supposed to have with Jesus. So can you guys just share a little bit about how, or do you guys ever feel weird about sharing some of the things that you do? How do you do it so candidly?
Well, I think our kids and our parents feel weirder than we do about what we do. But we love getting to do it. I mean, I think maybe it was a little more awkward at first, but we quickly realized that there was such a need for, especially among Christians, to have just a safe place to have real conversations. And a lot of us grew up in settings, maybe in homes or in churches, where sex wasn't talked about in a healthy way. It was either talked about only as something negative that you shouldn't do until you're married. But then once you are married, there's no help at all. There's no conversation about it. And so, folks write us and they'll say, man, your podcast or this ministry is the first place in my life, I felt like I've had the freedom to really ask real questions about sex, have real conversations related to sex. And we're just trying to remind people that God's the one who gives us that freedom. I mean, it's not anything we're doing. We're just opening up scripture and reminding ourselves and others that, like, guys, listen, God made sex. It's his idea. It's a great gift. The world doesn't own it. The devil doesn't own it. God made it. And Christian married couples should be having the best sex on the planet because we're the ones doing it God's way. And so I know that it's a complicated issue sometimes because we live in a complicated world where there are a lot of counterfeits out there, like pornography, and there are a lot of different forms of baggage that people carry into marriage related to sex from their own mindsets, their own insecurities, their own maybe past poor choices, and even, the tragic cases of people carrying the baggage of past abuse related to sex that they've endured. And we just try to be a safe place for people to unpack all of that and get back to the truth of the beautiful truth of what God created sex to be, and to redeem that and to reclaim that and remind couples that this is a gift that God has for you. And so we enjoy getting to be part of that conversation, and it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And
you guys make it fun. We had so much fun.
Thank you.
You have everybody in that. I mean, there were a couple thousand people or more, and everyone is having the best time. And
that's the goal.
you guys are truly so gifted. So I just want to put a plug out there for all my listeners. You have to check out the Naked Marriage podcast. Please check it out. So yeah, one thing that you said, and this is a great segue into your book, Naked and Healthy, because you said how sex is God's idea. So I'm going to just transition that a little bit. I always say exercise is God's idea. Taking care of the temple and being healthy is not man's idea. It's not, the enemy has perverted it where it's supposed to be about, how we look or looking sexy, which I don't even think that way, but I'm just being real. That's what people think. Well, I want to look that way in a swimsuit, or, I want to look great on vacation. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. But our motives matter, but it's God's idea that we take care of the temple. So
yeah.
Will you guys share a little bit about your book, Naked and Healthy?
Sure. We love that book. So like our first, we've written many books together, but really our first book that I feel like really encompassed our whole message of our hearts is the Naked Marriage book. And then we were thinking about, well, we want to do a follow-up book to this that expands on what the naked marriage is. And just in a nutshell, the naked marriage, it does refer to being naked physically, which is awesome. But really, it's talking about Adam and Eve, the first married couple, and how God created them. And they were naked and unashamed, meaning they weren't ashamed of their bodies. They weren't ashamed of having any secrets. They didn't have anything that they were holding back from each other. And we know it didn't stay that way. We know that Satan comes in and as a serpent and tells them to doubt God. And they eventually listen to him over God. And we see their eyes open to seeing they're naked, and there's shame attached to it. And there's shame even attached to sex. I mean, that's where we first see shame enter the picture. And so, we believe that God can help us all reclaim that naked marriage by being open, honest, and transparent. And also, and this is the message of Naked and Healthy, he wants us to be healthy spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and physically. And so we want to make sure that we're hitting all those things because one of the messages in the book is your marriage is only as healthy as you are individually, because we all need to be taking responsibility for our individual health in all those aspects. And so what we do in Naked and Healthy is walk through, well, how does that practically look? And we don't come at people as experts because we certainly have messed up a lot. We share a lot of our trial and error and our failures, and a lot of funny stories in there too, because I know, whenever I remember when we were delivering this talk about Naked and Healthy, I would mention, physical health. And I know, Amy, that's your expertise, but you could literally feel people seize up a little bit. Some people would perch up like, yes, my wheelhouse. I've always been an athlete. I've always, I'm a trainer. I do all this stuff. I'm good at this. But a lot of people in the audience, literally, you could almost hear the oxygen being sucked out of the air. And what it taught us is like, it's just such a sensitive area for people. And sometimes it's because they feel like their body is fighting against them. Like literally, they're like, I am trying, but my body is not cooperating. I have, a diagnosis or just some kind of impediment that's holding me back. And sometimes too, even when it comes to physical health, there's a mental block. or a spiritual block. Like, and what we talk about is really all these things affect the other. And so we need to aim for being well-rounded in all these areas, and also realize as married people that we can actually help our spouse grow in these areas too. Like, yes, we have our individual responsibility, but we can either be a hindrance or a help to our spouse in these areas as well. And so we talk through how to do that.
That is so good. Okay. So one of the things you talk about in the book as well is anxiety and depression, which I have a long family line of that. And and Tim and I both can be very anxious people. So, I mean, pray for our kids. Okay. But I honestly, my exercise journey is because God healed my mind.
Yes.
It was not about the physical for me. My mind was so messed up from a lot of trauma from my childhood, and then my own wrong thinking, my own perfectionism. And God did a healing in me. And I found, okay, I am a happier person. I am closer to God. I can get out of my own way so I can hear from Jesus. I am a better mom. I'm a better wife when I take care of me. So, I mean, back at 19 years old, because Tim and I got married young, I was 19. And again, a lot of baggage. And so I knew I could not repeat the things on my family that I felt were done to me, how the enemy, and I'm not going back to blame because God has done such a work of healing. But those things were so real to me. And so exercise became, this is a tool. God has given me this as a tool. Yeah. And the enemy he wants to defeat women and men and make them feel like they don't measure up if their bodies don't look like someone else. And that is such a lie from the enemy, because taking care of our temples is really a gift, not only to ourselves, but to God and the ones that we love. We show up better. Like this morning, I got up at 4:30, which I have been several times a week with my fit campers. We do an online workout. But this morning, I could have slept in, right? I could have slept in, but I felt like, who do I want to show up to today? It's all God's grace. It's not, I'm not boasting. I pray that never comes across that way, but it's waking up. Like, what do I want to show up? What kind of Amy do I want to show up as? One that's kind of tired, or do I want to start the day, run my race with joy? I find exercise is such a gift to me of healing in my mind, because I get in my own way. So have you guys found that too in your marriage? Just taking care of the temple has affected your marriage and made it so much more special and blessed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we are not like elite athletes by any stretch, but we love.
I'm laughing because it's so easy because we live in this Instagram world where you can, I've been doing this for a long time, but still the enemy can get in your head and go, oh my goodness, I work out that hard and I don't look anything like that. My body's going through hormonal imbalances and things are happening to my hips that I didn't ask for,
Yes.
But how fast the enemy, can come and just kind of steal that joy. But I just wanted to say, no, we're not looking at ourselves as
no, you guys are pros. We do love exercise. We love, I didn't always by any stretch, but like you said, it's a gift. Once you realize it's a gift, it's not like a punishment for, something you ate the day before, but it's a gift and a celebration of what God made our bodies to be able to do. And they are the temple, his temple of the Holy Spirit. And so you want to take care of the temple, like you said earlier. And really, I think we've just found, like, as we get out into sunlight, as we move our bodies, as we push ourselves a little bit physically, it helps us to be at our best, like the whole rest of the day. I mean, it helps us to have mental clarity. It helps us with our attitudes. It helps you with our overall health and making sure that we have, the energy and longevity that God created us to have to do all the things that he's created us to do. And so I think breaking out of that mindset of like exercise is somehow like a punishment that I have to punish myself to do. Right. And instead to say, no, this is a gift. This is something I get to do. I mean, there's so many folks who've lost mobility for whatever reason that would give anything to be able to exercise and to push themselves and to sweat. And so when you see it as a gift, it does kind of flip the script a little bit. And so we we got a basic home gym during COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Because like
Yeah.
gyms were closed and we couldn't go places. And so we got a basic setup, and my teenage sons, they got into lifting, and that became something that we could kind of cheer each other on and share together. And now, like, gyms of course have been open for a long time, but I still mostly just work out at home or go walk or run outside. And, I enjoy it, but I think everyone has to find a rhythm that works for them. And
well, and I'll say, and it doesn't have to be the same as a married couple, because Dave's much more a morning person. He's more like you, Amy. Even if he is, like, I don't think you're not always like, yay, I get to wake up. But you feel, you feel better when you wake up earlier and you hit the gym and you go on that run. And on mornings where he can't do that, he can feel it. And so, like, as his wife who knows that my husband's going to come back to me better if he can get that run in, I'll try to go out of my way to give him that time and space. And he does the same for me. But I'm a nighttime workout person. As far as my toning, I'll go walk during the day and get in the sunlight. I love to be outside if I can. If it's a rainy day, I can go on like a treadmill or something. But I really prefer being outside. But at night is when Dave will be literally asleep, and I have my weights and I'm doing like my Pilates and stuff in front of the TV. So I think we have to find that it's okay if it looks different for each of us. Like, there's some things we can do together, like pickleball is all the rage today. That's a great thing that a lot of couples are discovering they like together, or running or whatever. I tried running for a season. I really was proud of myself. I trained for a 5K. I realized running is not my favorite, but I did it.
You did it.
He's a marathoner. He's done marathons.
Well, one time, and it was ugly and painful, and it will not happen again.
You did it twice. You finished once, but he had an injury.
I'm not built for that kind of distance.
So you did a full? You did a full?
He did a full. He did.
That's
amazing.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well,
I think so too, because I could never do. I mean, I won't say never, because I know if I had the training and mindset, I could do it.
Yeah.
I've never felt the desire. I felt like I wanted. I really got into Pilates last year, and I'm a trained dancer. Like, my whole life, I've done ballet and tap and jazz and dancing. And so Pilates for me, it felt like I was tapping more into that dance part of me. And Pilates challenged me. So there were certain moves where when I started Pilates, I couldn't do it. Core, when you've had 4 kids, can really get affected. But over time, I was able to do it. And just the other day, I had a hysterectomy in January, and I just got the clearance last week that I can do ab work again. And I was doing my Pilates moves, and I was like, can I do these certain things? And I could. And I can't tell you, when you set goals and then you're able to do that, to either get back to it or set a new goal, it's so motivating. And it does something for you mentally too. And then it's kind of an outpouring in how you treat others too, because how we see ourselves and how we respect our bodies and put in that time, like you said, even it can affect our mental and emotional health. So it's really important. And I know, Dave's got a thyroid disorder as well that he was diagnosed with years ago. And I mean, if you didn't invest in your physical health, it would affect, because it was kind of this snowball effect that affected so much of your life.
Yeah. So,
but it's helped.
I'm thankful to be, just to be able to be active. And I think everybody feels better when they're active. It's a gift to yourself to do it. So
it is.
You start small, you don't have to, again, look at Instagram and think, well, I'm not going to be able to bench press 400 pounds. So I'm not going to lift anything, or I'm not going to be able to, run an Ironman triathlon. So why start anywhere? It's like, no, you don't have to do those things, but you get a little bit stronger than you are right now. Get a little bit, start somewhere, and you'll feel better for it.
Yes, I love that. So that's one of the things I say too, just show up, just do something, even if it's 5 minutes. There are so many health benefits to just even 5 minutes of getting our heart rate elevated. Exercise, by getting our heart rates up through exercise, there's certain parts of our brain that actually we get oxygenated blood to that we wouldn't any other way.
Wow.
God knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So, I just find that with my mom, she went to heaven a little bit over a year ago. And so towards the end of her life, dementia and Alzheimer's. And so it's so important to me too, to take care of my mental health and to exercise for the longevity, because when we stop moving, we start dying inside, because God made us to move. So Tim, do you have anything? Anything coming?
Yeah. What do you like doing, Tim?
I enjoy In-N-Out Burger.
Hey, we like that too.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I do love it. I think I got the t-shirt on.
I was just going to say you're an
No,
advertisement.
I love eating way more than I love exercising.
Yes.
And that's
I will
part
say
of why I
when you
exercise.
exercise, like for me, she isn't a way better, like happier when she gets her workout in. So I
Yes.
completely agree with that. I love it when she gets her workout in. And I need to be better at that. And so she does motivate and push me to do that, which is great. And I will say that, when, like as a man, when you exercise and you lose some weight and you feel a little bit better about yourself, you're more confident in the bedroom to have the sex. So you're not like
Absolutely.
ashamed. And I do know that's motivation. And also, just from studies, every 20 pounds a man loses, he gains an inch of his penis.
Let me tell you,
I'm going on a diet.
if that's true,
Yeah, I know. I need to lose 40 more pounds.
They're going running now.
Yeah.
Is that really true?
I think
I
I've
love
heard
it.
that. Is that not? Can I not say that on here? I'm sorry. I say things.
I think that's hilarious.
No, that is hilarious.
Optically, it appears that way, maybe like that. It just in terms of scale,
you can see it better when you.
There you go.
Wait.
There you go.
you can see.
I am laughing so hard because I am a literal thinker, so I'm just
Yeah. Like,
You're
wait
doing
a
the
minute,
math.
what?
Wait a second.
Yeah. So
Oh, boy.
60 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Okay. So now that's hard to transition to this question, but what do you do? What do you do if your spouse is struggling in their body and with their self-esteem? How can we build up our spouse? What do you guys tell couples?
I love how you talk about this. Why don't you go ahead, sweetie? And you've helped me in this way.
Right. Well, I mean, I
So
think
many times.
first off, you have to be really gentle in how you motivate a spouse toward their own health, because it can never come across as you're not attracted to them as they currently are, that you don't accept them and love them and adore them as they are. They have to know that you love them and are attracted to them and desire them just as they are, and but you want both of you to be at your best physically so that you can have health for the long term and all that. And whatever shape they're in at that moment, like celebrate that, like let that. I always tell guys, like, that's your type. If your wife's petite, then you're into petite. If your wife is more full figured, then you are into full figured. Like, she is your type, in whatever shape she is at the moment. And so never make your wife feel like she's got to compete or fit into some specific mold of what.
And same for wives with their husbands.
Yeah, and obviously same both ways.
Yeah.
I think that the societal pressure tends to fall more unfairly on women than men, but it goes both ways. Obviously, we need to wives need to build their husbands up, let him know you desire him, you think he's the man, that you are drawn to him, at just exactly as he is, but also that both of you try to encourage health in each other. But you just have to be really sensitive in how you encourage, because if it comes across as you're trying to fix them, or you're trying to manipulate, or trying to get them to do certain things to become what you want them to be, then that could backfire. Or
even like looking like someone else. I mean, we've talked to couples where and in fact, we did a podcast with a couple that I won't name them because I think this was actually not recorded, but it was really insightful. Like, they're professionals in an industry that is related to fitness. And they shared with us that one thing about pressuring each other to kind of fit a certain mold has come up time and time and time again, because in their industry too, they're around all these other people who their same thing. It's their industry. It's like looking a certain way is part of their job. And they said they came to a crossroads where they were like, we have to realize our relationship is more important, and we can't keep comparing ourselves or each other to these other people, because it becomes the thing that is always leading to a fight. And especially when your body's changed, like whether you're aging or you get pregnant and you're navigating your body changing through pregnancy, that'll
or
throw menopause. I mean, there's all these changes.
Yeah, life is going to change you. That's why these bodies are temporary. Exactly. God's going to give us perfect eternal ones at some point, but these bodies are going to wear out. They're going to change, and
so we want to take care of them, but I think it's that sensitivity. And so, like, I think, we always say, like, don't get your wife a membership to a gym unless she has specifically asked you for that. That is not going to go well. you will not have
Yeah.
sex. Like there's not gonna be
Right.
sex for a
Oh,
little
look,
bit.
I got you a
That's a
treadmill.
libido killer,
You never asked for that, but happy Mother's Day.
And it's like, and I think too, watch your comments and watch your eyes, especially if you know your spouse is in a vulnerable season. I mean, you checking out the hot neighbor isn't going to go well. And, we can't help what we notice, but we can help what we stare at. And so we have to be mindful to watch where our eyes go. And this is for women too. It's not just a male issue. But I think it's just really important to support each other. Years ago, I think it was after the birth of our second son, we had just moved and I had kept on weight for my first pregnancy, which they were pretty close together. And I really hadn't lost that weight gain that I received. And I won't even blame it on the pregnancy. I think I was just really having a good time hitting up Applebee's apps. I don't know if you guys have Applebee's where you are, but like we were really into going to get some appetizers at Applebee's. And I had just like not been very disciplined. And so I kept on weight from the first pregnancy, which went into the second pregnancy. And I just came to a point where I was really like, I need to do something, not just for looking better, but like for feeling better, like what you're talking about, Amy. I just didn't feel, energized. And I have these, we have these two little boys now. I want to be there for them and be an energetic mom. And so I was, Dave, you were talking through that with me, like, well, what does it look like? Do you want to go to a gym? Do you want to just walk more together? What is it? And I was like, I really don't know. And I was like, but I'm going to just pray about it. And lo and behold, like literally a week later, this girl at church comes up to me and she said, Ashley, I heard through the grapevine that you're a dancer, like you grew up dancing. She said, you may not know this, but our church has a dance team. And I was like, a church dance team? What's that? And I'm like, I'm in my 20s. Like, is this like a kids dance team? Like, what's going on? And she goes, no, it's like a worship dance, and it may sound weird to some people who've never seen that, but it was actually really beautiful. It was a small group. We all had dance backgrounds and from to varying degrees. And we would pick a Christian song and we would choreograph a dance to it and do it. And it was really beautiful. And so I went home and this is before I joined the team. And I was so excited, wasn't I? I was like, I prayed this prayer about God showing me what I need to do to get more physically fit. And this girl came up to me and told me this, but then in the same sentence, I said, but Dave, we have these two small children. We have busy lives. There's not time. They practice on Tuesday nights. I mean, I can't do that. And he looked at me and he was like, no, we will make this happen. I'll make sure the kids are good. You go for that 2 hours and spend that time. And him giving me that space and opportunity to do that, it literally changed my life in that season because over time I lost the weight. And not only that, I felt strong and toned. And then the best part of it all was I made some of my best friends that I've had for the last 2 decades. Like they are my best friends. So it was like, relationally, mentally, physically, there was a healing that happened. And so I just think so many times we make excuses and we complicate it. And I would just encourage couples who are like, yeah, I want to do all these things that you're talking about, but I don't know where to start. I would say pray about it. So many times we forget to pray and God will bring things to mind and opportunities that we didn't even know were possible. I mean, a church dance team was nowhere on my radar. Like that was nowhere, but it reignited my love of dance. And when you can find an activity that you love and you forget you're exercising, you've hit the ticket. So like, I loved it so much. It was a wonderful season.
That is so beautiful. I actually, so Tim and I were youth pastors and I would create, cause obviously it's in me. I love movement. And so we would make worship dances and
I love it.
It's such incredible memories. And the girls that are now adults, they remember those dances and how special
That's great.
were.
Yeah.
So
That's so
we
special.
have about 5 minutes left. I would love for you guys to share some practical tips with us that have helped you start a healthy life in those hard seasons maybe, and how you do it now.
Yeah.
I think one of the simplest things we do is we try to go on walks together
A lot.
regularly. And it can be somewhere pretty that we drive to, or usually it's just right around our neighborhood. And it's a great way to reconnect. We have some of our best conversations when we're in motion and next to each other. And then it's just getting those steps in too, and our neighborhood has elevation changes and that helps. We saw special about blue zones, the places in the world where people live the longest. And one of the things that those blue zones have in common is a lot of those places where people live have a lot of walking and they have hills, they have elevation changes. So there's something about walking, up
Well, it's
and
getting
down.
that heart rate up, like you
Yes.
said,
No,
And
I
it does
love,
for
so
us.
that's encouraging to us that let's take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just little
Exactly.
things.
Don't take the elevator.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Just
Yeah.
take the steps.
You do that a lot. He challenges me to do that.
Little things like that. Like I could walk up 2 flights of steps or wait for an elevator, but just those little decisions of like, this is going to get my heart rate up a little bit. This is better for me. It's going to help. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't have to become a CrossFit fanatic to, overnight. You just take the stairs, go on a walk, get more active than you are right now. Maybe get an Apple Watch or something that's going to track your steps and keep track of that.
Right here.
I
know. I love
And
it.
they'll even remind you to stand up.
I
Like,
already
hey,
saw your rings.
you've been-
She's going on the rings already.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. It's
I
like,
have work to do.
I gotta get those rings met.
I need to give it today.
So you just keep track, because sometimes we get in a routine where we don't realize, hey, I haven't moved all day.
Oh yeah.
But just monitor that.
You're very good. I will say, Dave, and not in a pressure way, but like if I'm like, you'll notice yourself first and you'll be like, why am I feeling so like in a funky mood? And you're like, well, I haven't hit the heavy weights today, or I haven't run today, or we haven't gone on a walk. And he'll remind me too, like I'll be like, gosh, I don't know why I feel so melancholy. And he's like, have you been outside today and walked? Because he knows it's important to me too. And I will say, just to reiterate, getting some kind of device to track, like tracking is motivating. I'm doing Noom right now. I don't know if you've heard of Noom.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. And I love it too. I'm in the counseling space, and it's a cognitive behavioral approach to nutrition and weight loss and things like that. And I have really geeked out. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd that way, but I've really geeked out on the science behind exercise and nutrition. And that's been really motivating to me. So I'm doing my watch, but I'm doing Noom and tracking my food, and also learning about little sticking points that, like, if you feel like you've hit a plateau, there's apps like Noom, there's MyFitnessPal, there's Weight Watchers. And I've done many years ago, I did Weight Watchers. It helped me tremendously, especially in that time I was telling you when I joined the dance team and was trying to also watch my food intake and try to just be healthier. But I think that just using the tools around us, I would encourage people too, to get someone like yourself, Amy, to join your what you're doing online, and to find someone who is an expert who can walk you through it. Because I think even sometimes technique, like we're not seeing the gains we want because we're doing the wrong technique. We don't have a coach or a trainer who can show us how to do it. And then we need people like yourself.
Well, thank you so much for that. Yes. And I love putting Jesus right at the center.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to send you my workouts. I have over 300, lots of Pilates in there, lots of abs. And so
I love it.
Just do like a 10-minute workout in the evening or something with me. I would love that
Yes.
too. Okay. Well, you guys, this conversation has been absolutely amazing. We have 1 minute left. And so this is going to be a really fast prayer, but would you guys just say a really quick prayer
Absolutely.
for our listeners?
Yes.
Sure. Father, thanks so much for Amy and Tim, and just for the light they are, and just for the fact you've let us all connect. And we are so grateful for that. Thank you for every person who's listening to this. And I just pray that you'd bless them, God. They've invested in their health in many ways just by taking the time to listen to this podcast. And so I pray they would take the next steps, that all of us would, and show us, God, the decisions we need to make to live at our best, to live at our healthiest in a way that honors you, that builds up our marriages and helps us have the energy that you want us to have to do all the things you've created us to do. We love you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You guys, thank you so much. God bless you guys. And hey,
Thanks,
check
friends.
them out, the Naked Marriage Podcast, and go to the show notes for more info. Follow them on Instagram and other social media. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Bye, you guys.